a very special guest, Guitarist Fareed Haque. Stay with us on Jazz Central. Guitarist Fareed Haque is here. He's going to start off his first set with El Colibri and Opaque on Jazz Central. Welcome back to Jazz Central. I'm Angela Stribling here with guitarist, sitarist Fareed Haque. How you doing?
Good.
I love this instrument.
Isn't it cool?
Now, am I right? It's a sitar, right? Sitar guitar?
Well, it's a mixture between a sitar and a guitar. So we just call it a sitar guitar. It was just built for me by Kim Schwartz, a friend and luthier.
It's first time on national TV.
Indeed, indeed. It's first time actually being performed on, actually.
Tell me about this wonderful instrument.
Well, I mean, my father's from Pakistan, and I grew up listening to Pakistani and Indian music, and I've always loved it. But as a guitarist and as a jazz guitarist, playing a sitar is a totally different instrument. It may look a little like a guitar, but it's a completely different technique. It's tuned real different.
What would you say is the most or the obvious difference?
Well, here I've got a chromatic fretboard, which means I can play any of the 12 notes just like a regular guitar. This is tuned just like a regular guitar. The sitar I can't play any chords on, basically, and I can only play really in one key at a time.
Okay.
You know, so whereas on a sitar I would have, say, for example, just those notes, and I'd be stuck to that. You know, which is a wonderful thing. It's very moody and all, but having the jazz ear that I have, for me, it's exciting to be able to.
Lots more choices.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
To use the chromaticism
Very
and
pretty.
still get that twang.
You mentioned your dad's from Pakistan, your mom's from Chile, I understand.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that gives you certainly a lot of other music to draw on.
Well, like I said, I grew up listening to Indian music from my dad's side and Spanish guitar and Latin American music from my mom's side. So I play a lot of classical guitar music, and I have a real love for flamenco and Spanish music.
So then when we're listening to your latest CD, Opaque, what kind of influences would you say that we hear the most?
I think it's all really there. I mean, I think it can be somewhat disconcerting at first, you know, but when you get into the music, you begin to find the thread, which is really pretty much the way I phrase melodies, the way I play. I pretty much stick to Spanish guitar, and then actually I have another incarnation of this that I play on that.
Okay.
In that record.
You've been quoted as saying that one is probably the closest to Fareed's music.
Yeah.
You know, with so many different musical influences that are out there, I'd imagine that it's difficult figuring out, okay, this really is my voice. Would you say that represents?
It's been a challenge for me more than anything else because I play with so many different people. And just because of the nature of my background, I play a lot of different types of music, and I love lots of different types of music. You know, if I could play with Bonnie Raitt, I'd play with Bonnie Raitt, you know? and that's not typical for a lot of jazz musicians, I think. So it was important for me when I began to realize that my real heart was in acoustic instruments and acoustic music, even though I play electric, and I'm playing a lot on the road now, electric guitar, but you know, my heart is still with acoustic instruments, I think.
No, that's interesting. You're playing a lot of electric guitar on the road. How's that experience for you?
It's fun. It's fun. I'm playing with Joe Zawinul and the Zawinul Syndicate, and we're doing a lot of touring all over the world. Tons of touring. I mean, it's just exhausting. You know, everywhere. We're going to go to India, South America, Russia, Far East. But I'm playing electric guitar and a little bit of this, but mostly electric, and getting into my American rock and roll roots and all that stuff.
I'd
It's
imagine
really
that
fun.
it brings out an entirely different thing.
A different
from
kind of
Fareed.
twang. A different kind of twang.
It's a different twang.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're even doing jingles.
Yeah. You know, I used to do a lot more. And now that I travel so much, it's kind of hard for me to get back home and be on call. Because that's kind of what you need to be. You need to be there at home so that they can call you in. But I don't know if you've seen those Samsonite commercials. I don't want to give them a plug here.
Well,
I
it's
just
okay.
did. And
We'll know it's you now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Spanish guitar commercials that I've played.
Oh,
and
good
You
job.
hear that, it's probably me.
So I'd imagine that for a musician, that's a good thing to be able to fall back on, too.
Yeah. I mean, every kind of security has its danger as a musician. You know, the fact that I'm versatile is a really lovely thing for me, but then it has its other side that, as you said, I have to kind of find where my heart is, where my core is. Being able to do a lot of different kinds of music. I teach also at a major university, and to do all those different kinds of things can sometimes be confusing to your audience as well. You know?
Yeah. So, Fareed, let me ask you a question. I mean, people might have labeled you in the past as more of a new agey kind of an artist, whereas now you don't hear a lot of that. How would you like for people to describe you or describe your music when they listen to, for instance, this latest project, Opaque?
It's interesting because one of the things that I've never really done, though sometimes there's external influences that kind of push you in certain directions, even if you're not really that aware of it. And so, you know, I've done some pop tunes on my records, and I've enjoyed it, but there's a critical perception that really changes as soon as you step over that line and do a Spinners tune or do a Bill Withers tune or something like that. And this record doesn't really go into the pop music genre, pop jazz, if you want to call it that. And in general, I don't really plan what my voice is. It is what it is, and I think I'm more and more at peace with that, and more strong with that, able to say this is what I do, and this is what I do, and this is what I do.
That's great.
So
Well, good
cool.
for you. Isn't that the best of worlds?
It's getting there.
To say, you know, this is me. I hope you like it.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to put me in a category, but
Right.
I am Fareed Haque, and this is my
Yeah,
music.
I think it's important to realize that not all music is for everybody. I mean, if we were making one music for everybody, then everything would be, you know, AM pop.
There you go.
know, and that would be a sad world. I mean, I love AM pop, but there's got to be all levels of music for all kinds of moods and all kinds of interests and all kinds of people.
Well, we love the variety. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk for a few
My
minutes.
pleasure.
We're going to let you get back on stage. More with Fareed Haque on Jazz Central. Stay with us. Vienna on Jazz Central.
Thank you.